Assalamu alaikum. Let's cook. Rachel Dolezal, she's not the only white American fraud who presents themselves as something other than what they really are, a white American woman, for benefits, money, and things like that. This woman, you know, she changed her whole skin tone, hair, identity, even claimed black family members, all that. Now, this woman, Buffie Saint Marie, people, her entire career, she acted like a Native American. That's what she's known for. My lane in this video is not to get all into what a Native American is, but I know she ain't that. Buffie Saint Marie ain't that. Now, this woman rose to fame in the 60s. She's a singer, a songwriter. She wrote all kinds of powerful songs about war, justice, indigenous rights. And over the years, this woman right here received numerous honors, all kinds of awards, Academy Awards. She got awards from Canada. I mean, this woman is a big deal. Throughout her career, she identified as indigenous, and she was widely recognized as Cree, C-R-E-E, a tribe, Cree. Now, she also developed a close relationship with members of the Piapat First Nation, and she later adopted into their community as an adult, okay? Now, for many people, Buffie Saint Marie, this white woman, became one of the most recognizable indigenous voices in North America. She's kind of a big deal. She was a recurring cast member on Sesame Street from 1976 to 81. You know, she played a version of herself. She was brought on to Sesame Street to introduce children to contemporary Native American culture and to emphasize that Native Americans are living communities, not just historical figures. So they went and got her to do all this. And some of the big time memorable moments on the show include when she made television history in the year of 1977 by breastfeeding her infant son named Dakota Cody Star Blanket Wolfchild on the program.
What you doing, Buffy?
I'm feeding the baby. See, he's drinking milk from my breast.
Oh, that's a funny way to feed a baby.
Oh, lots of mothers feed their babies this way. Not all mothers, but lots of mothers do.
Oh.
And he likes it because it's nice and warm and sweet and natural. And it's good for him. And I get to hug him when I do it, see?
Oh. Well, is that all he ever needs to eat?
Well, at first, when he was just born and very tiny, this is all that he wanted and all that he needed. But now that he's getting bigger, see, I mash up fruit and vegetables and sometimes a little bit of meat. And as he gets older, he'll need more and more different kinds of food to eat. But for right now, this is just fine. He's drinking his milk.
So you can see she went all out. She's on there breastfeeding little Star Blanket Wolfchild, then gave him a name and everything. And for decades, this woman, Buffie Saint Marie, was celebrated as one of the most influential indigenous artists, winning awards, all kind of stuff all around the globe. She was an icon for indigenous activism, music, culture. But this is a white Italian woman from Boston. White Italian woman from Boston. In the year 2023, CBC, a Canadian outlet, did something called The Fifth Estate, and they published an investigation into Buffie Saint Marie's ancestry. And the investigation reported that public records, including a birth certificate, identified her as Beverly Jean Santa Maria, born in Massachusetts to parents who identified as white and of Italian and English ancestry. They even talked to some of her family members. They told on her, and they concluded that there is no evidence supporting her claim that she was born Cree, Native American, Indian, or whatever you may want to call it. She's a white woman from Boston. Now, this became national news, but it didn't stop this white woman here from lying. Buffie Saint Marie rejected all that. She said, no, I really am. She said that she had always relied on what she was told about her family's history, and she maintained that she never fabricated her identity. She then emphasized that she had been adopted into the Piapat First Nation as an adult and continued to value that relationship. So that was her cover-up. You know, if you are already Cree, why would you need to be adopted into the Piapat First Nation? You already Cree, so why would you do that? So she did that as a cover-up, when she knew, they may be on to me. Let me go over here, let them adopt me in, so I'm gonna say I'm that. You know what I mean? Buffie Saint Marie, she still denies intentionally misleading anybody, and she's going hard with it after clearly there's proof that she ain't who she's trying to be. Now, when certain people and groups and institutions found out that she was faking, they started revoking some of the things that they gave her. There's something called the Order of Canada. They revoked what they gave her. Multiple Juno Awards and her Canadian Music Hall of Fame recognition were snatched away. Several universities withdrew her honorary degrees. They knew she was lying. You know what I mean? They said, give all that back, Buffie Saint Marie. You were lying. This chick is a whole white Italian from Boston, and she continues to deny and knowingly misrepresent who she is. But they're not asking for none of them bags of money back because her whole Native American thing made her a lot of money. She was a real actor, you know what I'm saying? Elizabeth Warren, the white American politician, did the same thing. She's a U.S. senator from Massachusetts, same state as Buffy. Maybe it's a Massachusetts thing where the white people passed around some information and said, let's do this, this, and this. But Elizabeth Warren, she claimed to be a Cherokee heritage at all kinds of points. She started doing this before we even knew her. Elizabeth Warren was doing this during her academic career. She listed herself as a minority in law school when she was at Harvard Law School, and she became the first woman of color on staff. This is an entire white lady lying. Now, this became a big political situation in the year 2012 when Donald Trump mockingly exposed her, called her Pocahontas because he knew what she was doing, accusing her of fabricating her claim for a career advantage. And she was lying. DNA tests and all that. No, you're not. You're not. You know what I mean? It did backfire for her politically. There were many Native American tribes and advocacy groups that criticized what she was doing, faking and this and that. She did apologize to them, both privately to the Cherokee Nation and publicly for, lying and this and that. But, those Native American tribes, they're not going to act like she's a black woman. If that was a black woman, they'd go super hard. Most of these people are racist as well themselves. I mean, the ones who get recognized as that, that's a whole nother topic, but they're not going to go super hard against a white American woman. She got that off. She doesn't have to give any of the bags of money back that she made from law school all the way up, acting like she wasn't a white American woman. And, these fake white Native Americans, they're known as $5 Indians. $5 Indians. Now, historically, this $5 Indian term is tied to the Dawes Rolls, which is a federal enrollment process from the late 1800s to the early 1900s. So basically, they passed something called the Dawes Act in 1887, and it aimed at breaking up tribal land holdings into individual allotments. Everybody gonna get some of this land. Now, the Dawes Commission, the people who worked on this commission, they were tasked with registering people as tribal members, especially targeting these 5 so-called civilized tribes, which are Cherokee, Choctaw, Chickasaw, Creek, and Seminole, to determine who was eligible for these land allotments and other benefits that they had for them. Okay. Now, what happened was these people on this commission, they were taking $5 payment, which is probably a lot of money back then. You know what I'm saying? Taking $5 payments from mostly white men, along with white Latinos and others who bribed them, basically say, hey, I'll give you $5, put me on that list, on that Dawes Rolls, and register me as a Native American so that I can get access to land and all kind of benefits. And that's what they did. And that's where the term $5 Indian, or the phrase $5 Indian, comes from. You know what I'm saying? They were paying $5, which, you know what I mean? They made millions and millions off of that. I'm pretty sure to this day, some of these families are still ate a lot, whatever, generational wealth, as they call it. You know what I mean? So again, white people lying, stealing, trying to get handouts, Buffie Saint Marie, Elizabeth Warren, many more. That's what they do, taking things that they are not entitled to by theft, by lying, by scamming, any way easy.